Okay.
Do they have live comments too? Is that a thing?
Yeah. You
Oh, we're
can.
streaming live. We're live.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Oh, welcome into the Dirty Slam podcast. Some would say it's the renaissance of the Dirty Slam. The DGFL rookie draft is what? When is it, Hunter?
Maybe tomorrow. Might be tomorrow.
Oh, it's
closing in on the
tomorrow.
24-hour mark of the DGFL rookie draft, baby.
Yeah, that's crazy. We got that cooking up tomorrow. I'm going to be flying in on my private jet, so just wait for that. I'm going to be parachuting out, and it's going to be sick, all right?
Can't wait.
But that's not why we're here. That's not why we're
No,
here.
of course
right?
not.
So, give you a little preview. You're looking at my screen here. You're looking at my screen, and you're seeing the DGFL matchbook. So, a little outline of what we're going to do. So, first, we're going to hit up this preseason championship page. We're going to hit that later. And then we're going to go in and do commissioner mock draft. All right. We got everybody out here, all 12 picks. Matt Don, Hunter's picks, everything here. Thank you to Hunter for helping me set this up. It really took a whole lot of effort and time. You see this? Look at this. This took us forever.
I mean, that really did. Like the formatting, the beautiful aesthetic of the cells. It really took us a while. So, yeah, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this episode.
So, if you don't mind, Hunter, I'm gonna take this part away here.
Have at it.
So what we're doing this year, last year we did it at the beginning of the playoffs just to see how it would work. And it didn't go over as well as I thought. So I put a lot of thought into it this year, and we're going to do it before the season. After the draft, essentially, is when you're going to come in here and put your picks. I haven't formatted it totally yet because I'm going to have to put the references in to put it over on the DGFL betting stats page. But essentially here, we're looking at, so me as the house, I got about 115. And then everybody else, most people hovered around 100. So what we're going to do is, when we're setting our picks, the odds is basically just your points you're going to get. So I'm going to format this, and you're going to come in and you're going to pick whatever team you think is going to win the championship. All right. And it's just going to be added onto your score. Well, this is all time. It'll be added onto your 2021 total point score. I put it in here. It's just going to be added straight on top. Nothing crazy with the values or anything like that. It's just going to be added on. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna go through the point values. This is based on my betting expertise, my knowledge of the markets, and the crypto and stock markets that got played into this thing, but also Hunter's expertise on being a nerd. He also helped me out.
Stop it.
So all right, here we go. You could also consider these the power rankings if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
We're starting off number 1 overall, Screaming Turtles. We have them at 10 odds. They are the favorite to win it all. If you bet on them and get it right, 10. All right. Their running backs are great. Wide receivers are great.
They did lose Ridley, though. They did lose Ridley.
He did lose Ridley, but he could make a big. I don't know. He's got probably 3 of the top 5 running backs in his team. Anyways, we're not here to.
Wait, no, quick question. Would you say he has all the talent?
I do think he has all the talent. I do think he has all the talent still. He hasn't lost all the talent. So we'll see if he can win the big one.
It's tough. I mean, history has not been kind to him. But, he's got the best odds this time around. I think he's had the best odds for the last 3 seasons. But, maybe today's the day.
Yeah, we as the season gets closer, we can get into all of these more in depth. Obviously, you have a lot of time to put these picks in. You can put them in as early as the day of the rookie draft after it happens, or the day before the season starts. And no grace given. We already did a year where I gave out a lot of grace. I'm locking pages. Nobody gets in after. Because from now on, this is going to be big money, no whammies. All right.
Never anyway, miss.
Number 2, Mafiosos DeVeggie, reigning champs, coming back. They're going to be number 2. Number 3, Ramblin' Rubber Duckies. A lot of injuries last season. We can say that them and another team can come back with a vengeance this year and really put on for their city. I think they could make a run in the playoffs. They've been there before. I think they're strong. Mighty Peacocks, number 4. They nearly made it to the championship, got bounced in the semis. I think they're strong. They're coming in with the number 3 pick from a trade they made last season. I think they could bolster their team, come back strong. Rods Bods, it's a tough one for me because they were so strong. They were a heavy favorite last year, but as the season progressed, they got a little worse and worse. I think they could come back and really bounce back. We'll have to see what goes on with some of their big time names, see what happens with their touch count. They could be good. They're number 5. We have them equally as pegged as the Swines, both at 50. You get 50 points if you guess them right. Swines are also an interesting case because they have really strong talent on their team, but their head swine is in a little bit of a turmoil with their team. Obviously, you got Derrick Henry, some of those main guys. Will Michael Thomas be as good with a new QB? Who knows? Next, we got kind of another tier here of 60s. The Gillas, the Cheeseboards, and the Jollers. A lot of question mark, but a lot of talent. The Gillas are similar to the Duckies. A ton of injuries really set them back. Had a historically bad season that Pillas did. But I think they could come back and really be a heavy hitter. That'll be one of my favorites come August when we're ramping up the Dirty Slam. They could be one of my favorites for if you're looking for big point values. They're a sleeper. Cheeseboards have a really high pick in the draft, the first pick in the draft.
Best pick.
Yeah, they could really get good running back room. Also a sleeper. Jollers made a big trade for Ridley, automatically putting them into playoff contention, I'd say. We'll see. We'll see if they can. We'll see if they can really ramp it up, make some more trades, hit on some picks here in the draft. Frogs. Honestly, I'd say they're the best of these bottom 3 teams. They're the best of the worst in my opinion. They just like who's their RB2? There's a lot of question marks. Like who's there? They got DK Metcalf, Austin Eckler. I don't really know Kyler Murray. Like I don't really know many other players on their team. But they have a ton of picks. So if they hit on a few of them, that'll be great. Weenie Wolves showed at the end of last season that they got a lot of fight in them. Will that trade pay off with Gaskin? I mean, who's to really know? We'll see on that. They could be good. Honestly, I'm not. As of right now, they're tough. Pubes, they're terrible. 120. If you guess them right, we have them at 120 because 113 was the winner. It's if you guess them right, you should win.
Yeah. I'll pay you. I'll match that in a dollar amount.
If you guess if the Pubes win, me and Hunter will split $120.
100%. This is live. This is on YouTube. Pin it, tag it, tweet it, whatever. Will happen if the Pubes win it all. Heck, I'll buy. I don't know. I'll do anything.
I'm not as confident because the season prior, I was the worst team, and I came back, rocked the nation. We'll see. I'm not betting against the Pubes by any. I'm not splitting that 120. That's a joke for me. That's serious for him. That's a joke for me.
Hey, look, I'll eat my words when it comes down to it. The world would have to end. And half the team, there would be a Thanos snap, half the NFL is gone, and the only players left are the Pubes players. And then we're talking okay, maybe they win a ship.
Yeah. Well, they could hit it. 120, that'll win the DGFL betting award, whatever that'll be. We got to figure that out.
Yeah. That's
all right. Transitioning in to the Commish Mock Draft 2021. Any words you want to say prior, Hunter? Anything you got?
This is just like Christmas for me. This is the most wonderful time of the year. We are looking at a brand new group of rookies. We're looking at our second rookie draft as a DGFL, which is kind of wild. Yeah, in this class, I think it's a very interesting evaluation. Obviously, we've had COVID. We've had some difficulties with the combines. We've only had pro days. You had some guys opting out, some guys playing. Yeah, and this is an interesting mock draft. Just talking pre-show before we hopped on camera. I think picks 1 through 7 will be pretty chalk and understandable, but once we get to pick 8, who knows what's going to happen? Like, your guess is good as mine. Both of our guesses will probably be wrong. I can see some nonsense happening 8 through 12. So very exciting time, very exciting draft. I'm ready for it. Let's go.
You know, honestly, Hunter, you think it's going to be chalk? I have basically 2 drafts prepared. All right. My first draft that I did is my first round that I did was essentially who I think are the best players, regardless of position, regardless of school, regardless of team drafting. I think it's just the best prospects, 1 through 12, in my opinion.
All right.
That's the one I'm going with.
Okay.
I've got a few trades in there. I'm not sure if you think there's going to be any trades. I got a few trades that'll be going down this year. I think teams have an understanding of value this year. There's a new texting system that some people have been lobbying for. I think this year could be heavy with the trades. Anyways, that's the one I'll be using. It's called the spicy one.
Obviously, it's not even Thursday. It's not even Thursday, and you're busting out.
It's not Spicy Boy Thursday. It's a new one called
Spicy Saturday.
It's a new one called Sriracha Saturday. All right.
Even better.
All right. I'll figure out a way to send out the one that I'm trying to guess them all correctly. I'll send that out somehow. Post it on Twitter or something. Not sure how that'll happen, but I'll be doing my Spicy Boy one right here, right now. With that being said, we're not going to start yet. I faked you out. I think me and Hunter last year did a commissioner write-up on power rankings after the draft, or maybe it was, yeah, we'll probably do that again whenever we figure out when to do it.
I wrote far too much last year. I would not be writing this much. Much.
He's gonna cool it down a little. He wrote maybe twice or 3 times as much as I did. Probably took him twice or 3 times as long. But anyways, now with that being said, we're gonna start. We're gonna kick it off. Hunter Phelan's gonna be picking his first pick. Who's he going with? He's gonna write it in, and he's also gonna say it.
You know what? I'm not even gonna write it in. I'm just gonna copy and paste it in. And this is one that is sharping in there. Like, I don't know who else is going to go 1-1. This makes sense. It's a mix of a lot of talent, a lot of opportunity, and at a very, very important position for this league. It's got to be Najee Harris. It's got to be Najee Harris. Nice. Unbelievable career at Alabama. 3-year starter, I believe. Tore it up this year with just jumping over everybody and their mother. Went to a great situation in Pittsburgh where he's going to be walking into probably 250 to 300 carries, also with passing work. Like, it just makes sense. The need is there for the chessboards. They need another RB, an RB1 or an RB2. Najee is the pick here, and I'd put that one in stone.
Yeah, you know, I agree with Joshua Roddy in the comments. Terrible pick. If we're looking at the best player from the most valuable position, running back, you can't go with him. You have to go with Javonte Williams. He is the best player in the draft.
Wow.
100%. There's nobody better.
Wow. Wait, Matt Don?
Yeah.
Finish this up, and then I have breaking news to report on live on the pod.
All right, give me a second. There's a massive blockbuster he's about to report on. Javonte Williams, I'll talk about him after. No, you reported. I didn't know there was a blockbuster.
Yeah, gentlemen, there is a blockbuster. So this trade has just gone down in the chat. We are talking the second to last pick in the 3rd round for Devin Duvernay of the Baltimore Ravens. Absolute blockbuster, huge implications for fantasy. We're looking at Giller is going to be able to take probably one of the greatest players to ever play the game with that late third. And Devin Duvernay obviously has had a lot of camp buzz, has looked great now. Probably the wide receiver one in Baltimore. They've said that Lamar is no longer allowed to run and he is just throwing the football. So absolute steal there for Jack Mitchell. Slots right in for that Calvin Ridley role. We talked about at the beginning of the podcast, who steps in for Calvin Ridley? The answer is Devin Duvernay. Sorry about that, Matt Don.
It's all good. I like the blockbuster trades. I like them. But as I'm saying, Javonte Williams destroyed the ACC in essentially a split backfield. Like he was if it was only him getting carries like Najee, he would have set every record known to mankind. Rushing, receiving, passing, interceptions. He would have did it all. He might as well have just been playing every position. He is so good. He's so good. And the cheese boards are out of their mind if they pass on this talent. He's gonna take a year to rest and understand the offense behind I think it's Melvin Gordon, who's essentially his coffin in Denver. So after that, he's exploding. And everybody who doesn't have him on his team is gonna be sad.
Wow.
Griffin Hicks is right. Williams is huge. Yeah, he's huge. I don't really know what that means, but sure, he's huge. Moving on to my second pick. I think I'm spelling his name incorrectly, but it's Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase is, I think he's the second best prospect in the draft behind Javonte, of course. I think Ja'Marr Chase has everything. He was beaten up on NFL-ready cornerbacks as an 18-year-old. Nothing more to say about it. I think he's really good.
Matt Dom, this makes me a little bit sad to say. Why this is not working for me right now. I agree. Ja'Marr Chase, he's got to be the pick at 2. He's absolutely incredible. Dominated in college in his year. Did take the year off, so there is going to be some concerns there of just shaking off the rust. But let's be real here, guys. He was better than Justin Jefferson in college. Justin Jefferson came in, tore up the league. Ja'Marr Chase is a generational prospect, generational player. Give him the opportunity to go to Cincy with Joe Burrow. They've got some other talent there, so the corners aren't going to just be able to key in onto him. He's got a good quarterback talent. They've got a good offensive line, good running game. Love that pick. Love Ja'Marr Chase. Again, if it wasn't such an RB-centric league, you can make a very, very good case for him being the 1-1. Incredible talent. Just with you, like not much more to say than that.
I think it's especially good to note that I don't think there's any way the Pillows pass on Ja'Marr Chase because of that juicy stack of Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase.
That's a good point. That's a very, very good point.
Like Mahomes, Kelsey essentially won me 80% of my games. I think if you get a juicy stack like this, it's just really hard to beat in those games where they air it out a lot.
Oh yeah. No, it's a good stack. It's also good to just get another young talent that he can build around, have for probably the next decade as locked in as a wide receiver 1. I think incredible talent, makes a lot of sense at a premium position. But pick 3, a lot of intrigue here. We've got this in the infamous Myles Gaskin trade. There's a lot of directions he could go here. There's 2 running backs on the board, at least on my board. Javonte Williams. Well, actually, you still have 2 running backs on the board. We just have a different 1-1. 2 running backs on the board and tight end on the board. A couple wide receivers on the board. Some interesting prospects to be sure. But again, I'm going with a generational guy. I'm going with you're in the top 3. You get an opportunity to take a guy who is very, very, very special, and you already know where it's going to be. It's Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is unbelievable. 6'5", 6'6", runs a 4.4, lines up at the tight end position. Great route runner, great hands, just unbelievable ability. Tore it up at Florida with a fine quarterback in Kyle Trask. Getting to go into Atlanta, and especially if Julio Jones leaves, gets to become either the 1 or the 2 there. We'll get a lot of opportunity in that passing attack. Arthur Smith there now did a lot with tight ends in Tennessee. Really just a special player. not often that you get this kind of athlete at the tight end position. I've heard comparisons to Megatron. I've heard comparisons to Randy Moss. I've heard comparisons. One that I like is Mike Evans. He is a special player, and especially at the tight end position, I would be surprised if he lasts past this third overall pick.
I wish I could agree with you. I think he's a fairly one-dimensional player, in my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it with the guy. I don't see him in the top 3 ADP. He's a tight end. What's the hit rate on tight ends?
No, it's low. He could be Eric Ebron.
But then you say, oh, he's not a tight end. Yeah, it's because the guy can't block. So where do?
Yeah.
You line him up in the slot and he's going to get bullied by linebackers? I don't know. It's a different
He's going to bully linebackers. You kidding me? He's 6'6", 240.
Yeah, I know, but he's got a soft play style. I can't. Obviously, I'm going to eat my words because when am I ever right about this kind of stuff? But I just can't justify the Peacocks not taking the best available player. Let me write it in here. Michael Carter. No, Najee Harris.
Wow. Oh, I was ready for it.
Michael, no, not Najee Harris. Or wait, no, is Najee Harris. Yeah. He can't fall that far. He's pretty good. Hunter said it at the beginning. He's all right. He was pretty good at Alabama. But I think it's a little inflated based on his team being the best team in the nation. His offensive line, all 5 of them are going to be near first-round selections in the NFL draft whenever they come out. Like his passing game, I just think there was everything going for Najee Harris. I think that's the opposite of what is going to be in Pittsburgh. So it's a little tough for me to have him above Ja'Marr Chase because I just think Ja'Marr Chase is great and he is amazing, and Najee Harris is great and amazing, but it's harder at the RB position to really overcome a lot of things. So we'll see. Peacocks are great at taking the best player available, except for last year they took Henry Ruggs.
I loved Ruggs.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I knew it was a bad choice. So maybe I'm right about Kyle Pitts here. If I was right about Ruggs last year, I might be right about Pitts.
It's entirely possible.
Anyways, I'll move into my next one. I would be insane to not do this. I don't think he's going to be that. I don't think he's going to be better than those first 3 people, but I think he'll be pretty solid. It might take him a year or two. But I think he'll end up being a pretty good guy. I'm not sure he'll ever get in to be that Kelsey, Waller, Kittle tier, but he could.
It's just there's not been a prospect like him in the last.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if within 2 years he's actually not even considered a tight end.
I don't disagree. I think that would be interesting. That's the one concern I have with a Kyle Pitts pick is if he gets reclassified fantasy wise as a wide receiver. I think it'll be really good with wide receiver.
Would you still have him at 3 if he is a wide receiver?
No, I wouldn't. I think he's special, but I think he's special for the tight end position.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a built-in risk. But
Griffin, that was a big Uno reverse card, but I feel like I would be in an insane asylum if I the dude was the 4th pick in the draft.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
They clearly like the guy.
Well, it's not are the Falcons really who's the GM? Is he known for
Arthur Blank's the owner. I don't know who the GM is still.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe their GM.
I mean, they got Julio right. They got Calvin Ridley right.
Sure. But if it's the same guy, then he's good at drafting wide receivers, not tight ends, you know?
Well, as we've already talked about, Kyle Pitts is a wide receiver playing tight end.
Maybe he knew.
Well, I agree with you. That's a good pick there. Obviously, at this point, we've got very disparate boards. Even though we've had all the same guys go within the same picks, it's just been different. And yeah, that trend's not changing. Javonte Williams, I will put here to the Duckies. Makes a lot of sense. There's I've talked with the Duckies GM. They've had a lot of discussions on who they're going with. To be clear here, I still think there's some discussions and there's some ongoing things here. But looking at the running backs on their roster, they clearly like a bigger, more physical runner. They've got Chubb, they've got Mixon, they've got Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is the comparison I use to Javonte Williams. Really, he's only had one season of production, so there are question marks there. He also didn't have to run that much given the presence of Michael Carter. But he runs physical, he runs hard, he breaks a lot of tackles, has really good hands for a guy of his size. And so I think given that that Jamar, Pitts, and Najee, some of these guys who we may throw around the term generational a little bit, are gone at 3. I think you take the next best available and you go with Javonte Williams here.
Nice, good pick.
Yeah, following this up though, this is uncharted territory. No, none of us are here. But again, I said at the top of things, I think 1 through 7, I have a pretty good feeling of at least the guys that will be gone in that block. So I don't know what the order will be, but this is where we're going to see some interesting times. And I know it's breaking the Joller's heart that Javonte Williams goes off the board, but they do get a good consolation prize in Travis Etienne. Yeah. Travis Etienne, obviously, first round draft pick when going to the Jacksonville Jaguars, getting to reunite with Trevor Lawrence. Opportunity there is interesting. We talked about with Javonte, you talked about the ghost of Melvin Gordon is still there, but who knows for how much longer. Travis Etienne, he's going into a spot where James Robinson looked great. He was incredible on the ground. Clearly a bigger, more physical runner. We'll probably get that goal line work still. Urban Meyer has talked about Travis Etienne as a third down back. He worked at wide receiver during training camp. So there's some question marks around Travis Etienne, but there's also a lot of production with Etienne. ACC Player of the Year, a lot of great film, a lot of great opportunities, a lot of great yards that he's put up over the years. So that's my pick there for the Jollers. They need another running back, given that Jacobs is falling off. And oh baby, do we have another? The same?
Yeah, I've had it up there the whole time because I'll tell you what, boys in the back, they were whispering in my earpiece. They know Rappaport and Schefter personally, DGFL edition, obviously.
Of course.
And they're not going to tell me which reporter has it. But apparently word is from the Jollers is that they are 100% certain that they're going to take a running back and that they know that the top 4 guys, that one running back will leak. So I can't not choose Etienne there. Obviously, the boys in the back are never wrong. But maybe Rappaport or Schefter were wrong in this instance. Taco Eater is our number 5 pick. So this is an interesting one. The Pubes, word came out that the Pubes traded back because they were certain that their guy was going to be there. So in my mind, who was it going to be? I said that I was going to do my favorite ADP of all, but I feel like I just had to snipe this one, and I know who it is. If I get this wrong, then Jack Mitchell can be my commissioner in place of me,
That's more than my $120 claim. Oh gosh.
No, I'm kidding, Jack. Don't get your hopes up. It is Devontae Smith. I think the Pubes go wide receiver here. Whether it is Smith or Waddle, I'm a little indifferent on. I'm actually really close in terms of them as prospects. I think Waddle was really good in college, and Smith obviously was a record breaker. Smith is really dynamic. Waddle is really speedy. I don't know what the word to describe. Agile. He's got great.
He's an athlete.
He's an athlete. I just think Devontae Smith has got to go here to the Pubes. For some reason, it's just my gut feeling.
You've trusted your gut so far, and it brought you a ship.
So you say that your top 7 are are all pretty chalky. Is that what you're doing as well? What are you doing here?
So I'm with you. In my evaluations, obviously I was sitting at pick 6 before moving up to pick 4. And I was looking at Waddle. I was looking at DeVonta Smith. Those are two guys that were on my radar there. And those are the two guys that will be going these next 2 picks. And figuring out the landing spot is difficult. There's a lot going on for both. Waddle obviously had the injury last year, broke his ankle. We didn't get to see all of what he could do in a full season. We went off though for the first 4 games that he was playing. Unbelievable, incredible talent. Clearly, Dolphins believed in him. Went earlier than DeVonta Smith, going into a good situation there where he's the wide receiver 1. DeVonta Smith, concerns about his size, weighs 165 pounds, nickname of the Slim Reaper. All the pictures on Twitter have gone viral of just him, just the skinniest human being alive. For context, I'm 190 pounds. And so the fact that I've got 30 pounds on DeVonta Smith, it's wild. So it's a lot of back and forth. But what it comes down to for me is situation. I do think they're very, very similar in terms of talent levels. I like the Dolphins a lot. I think they're making a lot of good moves. I think they need a wide receiver, and they got that wide receiver. And Philly has just not been able to hit on the wide receivers. So for that reason, I'm going to pick Jalen Waddle here. I think
nice.
It gives some explosiveness to that offense. It gives some different opportunities, some different things for them to build. And I like it for the pubes here. Go for a high upside guy. Go for a guy who, a lot of people have likened to Tyreek Hill. We've always been chasing this Tyreek Hill. So it's just as likely that he could end up and be in Henry Ruggs territory or John Ross territory where he's just a speed guy. But I like that pick for the pubes. And here I'm going to go with, again, I'm just DeVonta Smith. Yeah. It's easy. It's easy. You're going to go whoever the guy that they do not pick is the guy you are going to pick. Yeah. DeVonta Smith, I really like him. Dominated in college. Great route runner. Plays stronger than he looks and stronger than his weight. Surprisingly fast. Incredible hands. Questions, though, always for Alabama receivers. They didn't have to face double coverage. They didn't have to do all these different things. But, I really don't think you can go wrong there. Personally, I'd probably lean DeVonta, but I do think Waddle will go earlier just because of the upside.
Yeah, I'm no need for me to talk about it. I think the Frogs will sit here at 7 and select. I did have a debate here, so this is going to be my first whammy of the draft. All right, my whammy slammy.
I thought we said no whammies.
Trade incoming. Trade at pick 8. It's happening, or 7. It'll happen on one of these two, and it'll flip these 2 players if it does happen. So I'm going to give it a little highlight action. Boom. All right. Trade. How do I spell this? Rashad Bateman. All right. Turtles. Trade in to the 8th pick and select Rashad Bateman.
I like that.
That's what's going to happen. I think the Frogs are going to trade back, maybe get another pick in the future round, in the future years. Maybe, I don't know if Jack has his 2023 first.
Well, no, he picked up the first in the Ridley trade. He's got 2 firsts and 2 seconds to deal with now.
In 2023?
2022 and 2023.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Turtles flexed off one of those firsts and traded to 8 here to select Rashad Bateman. He's on his favorite team. He's got really good qualities as a receiver. Obviously, the question is, are the Ravens going to throw? And I saw it yesterday. Their OC said they're going to air it out. So
we hear it every year.
That's true. We'll see if that's true. Bateman is going at 8. Turtles are trading up and getting him. It could happen at 7. Asterisk 7. It could happen at 7. It's going to happen at one of those, but it'll happen. Trust me.
Actually, I completely agree with you now that you say it. I did not have that as a trade, but I do have Rashad Bateman going at 8. It makes sense. It's his landing spot. I do think there's a big tier break here from 7 to 8. And I do think Rashad Bateman is that next guy. I think you talked about it. Obviously, we know the love of the Turtles for Baltimore wide receivers. He famously traded DJ Moore away for a pick and Hollywood Brown. The pick worked out obviously because it was Justin Jefferson, but he wants to get his Ravens and he wants to keep them on his team. Okay. So that does make a lot of sense.
Can't steal my trade thunder.
Oh yeah, no. Get rid of that. I was making
a white background.
And then this is where things get interesting. We've got some interesting wide receivers. We got some running backs in Trey Sermon and Michael Carter who could creep up here. But what I'm going to go with is the first time in history that this will happen, and probably not the last. You already know where I'm going with this. I've said generational once, twice, a few times. This is the guy. This is Trevor.
Oh, nice.
You take Trevor Lawrence here. You don't even think about it. You've got your guy for the next 15 years. The Wolves their starting quarterback has been embroiled in some legal disputes. Tom Brady is now 50,000 years old and still never going to retire. You got Jalen Hurts. There's a lot of question marks there for the quarterback position. Take a load off and just take the best player probably in this draft. Trevor Lawrence is unbelievable. He's won everywhere he's been. I don't really need to talk about all his accolades. Everybody already knows them. He's incredible. And I would not be surprised if he went earlier than this. I think 9 it's probably like one of the later points. I think if he falls to 10, the Pubes could also make a move there. 11 or 12, I wouldn't be surprised if the Frogs get him. Like, he's not leaving the first round. He's unbelievably talented.
Yeah, I would say that based on the chats that Griffin said about he already has his guy in Jalen Hurts, I can't say that he'll take Trevor Lawrence. I also can't say that I'm big on QBs early. Mainly because we don't value them as a league as a whole. And, it's whatever, they're like a tier 3 position. It's fine.
Says the guy who traded for Patrick Mahomes.
Well, guess who won the championship? Okay. You know who I'm taking here. If I'm the Wolves, I'm taking, his whole debacle of his second round guy he took wide receiver.
Marquez Callaway.
Yeah, Marquez Callaway. Actually, kind of similar. Not crazy similar, but slightly similar. I did a little research and watched some highlights. Slightly similar situations here. Slightly similar talent to this guy, Terrace Marshall. Yeah.
Okay, that's actually a good pick. That's actually a good pick.
I think he's getting Terrace Marshall here.
It's Terrence, but
are you sure? I'm pretty sure it's Terrace.
I'm pretty sure it's Terrence.
I'm nearly certain it's Terrace.
It's Terrace. Holy crap.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What?
Uh-huh. Terrace Marshall.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, well, I'm glad you pointed that out. I've been calling him Terrence the whole time.
Nope.
I apologize.
Terrace like that balcony thing.
Yeah. Wow. Architectural find, Terrace Marshall.
I think he takes Terrace Marshall here because he's got alpha tendencies. But he's behind a few receivers that are also really established, solid guys. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. It's kind of a similar situation that Marquez Callaway was in, where he had some good tendencies, but he's behind Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Wolves continued their trend of really shooting for the stars for that grade A prospect.
I think there's a slight difference this time around. Terrace Marshall was drafted in the second round. Yeah. Marquez Callaway went undrafted.
Well, sure, but the Wolves it's like the Saints. The Saints are known for taking non-Power 5 defensive ends in the first round, and they're always good. I mean, Marquez Callaway is pretty good. So if we just multiply that by draft capital here, Terrace Marshall could be the best wide receiver from the draft.
He could be.
We'll see. That's who I think the Wolves are going for. I think it's a solid selection as a Panthers fan myself. I think he'll be good. Our touchdowns are third lowest in the league. Terrace Marshall's really good at scoring, so maybe he'll come in and really boost us up there. Solid selection. If the Wolves take him, I'm not sure if that trading back to 9 is as bad, but I mean, we'll see. It's all speculation here.
Oh yeah, always. What do you got at 10, Matt Don?
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm looping this. 10, the pubes. Here we go. You said that earlier in the draft show. I'll divulge a little secrets. We liked the pubes trading back because if they were at 4, we felt like they had to take. Well, in Hunter's draft, he would have had to take an RB, one of these two, and his team isn't set up for RBs. Trading back here, well, he traded back to 6. He traded back to 6. He got a wide receiver that can be a good building block. However, the pubes are notorious for really shooting themselves in the foot. He's taking Michael Carter. Yeah, I think the pubes are going to get too happy with a potential starting running back for the Jets. I think he's going to see it and go, "This is my lottery ticket, and this is how I break out of my division and really set myself up for future." But he'll be setting himself up for failure because his team cannot compete. He'll be a pretender, not a contender. I think he gets Michael Carter here. I also had a trade rolling around in my mind at this spot, but I don't think the pubes have that killer instinct to make a trade quickly. I'm not sure how your talks went with him, but every time I've tried to trade, it usually takes a while. So I'm not sure if he's got that draft day first round trade back mentality. If he does, I wouldn't be surprised if this pick is traded. I think that'd be a great thing for the pubes to just stock up on some future picks here and get out of this spot. But I think he'll take Michael Carter.
I like that rationale, Matt Don. I think I agree with you. I'm not gonna go into that. I will say with the pubes though, I do think they've evolved a little bit in their thinking. When I was talking with him on 4, I think he understood, like, yeah, no, I don't. Right here, I need more picks. I need a wide receiver. I need a young quarterback. Like, I need to fill these holes. And honestly, our trade talks were pretty quick. We texted back and forth. As soon as I offered Baker, he was like, "Yep, I want to do that trade," because I think it was a good deal for both parties. So I'm hoping, like, I'm with you, Matt Don. I think the smartest move here, especially if somebody wants to come up, is go trade back. Go get a second this year. Get a second next year. Go take another wide receiver, go take a quarterback, go take whatever, and just get some assets that you keep just building up. Because this is not if he nails this draft, he's still not a championship contender. He's still probably not a playoff team. It's about getting these young guys and getting these people in. However, I'm with you. I think the rationale is there. I just have a different running back at this spot. I think it was Trey Sermon. He's already got Raheem Mostert. I think it will be very tempting to him to get that San Fran backfield. Of course, we all know JaMycal Hasty or Jeff Wilson will then be the starting running back in San Fran. But that temptation is there. Trey Sermon looked great for Ohio State, looked great throughout the playoff run. So, yeah, exact same rationale as you said, but I just think it's going to be a different guy.
A little bit of tidbit. Trey Sermon's not even going to be in my first round.
I don't have. I'll be honest. Michael Carter's not in my first round. Yeah. Like, I think there could be one other running back that sneaks up. I just think we had different guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really like either of them too, but I feel like it'll happen.
No, I agree with you. I agree. I mean, like, look, I'm the main culprit here. I took Keyshawn Vaughn at 11 last year. Like, yeah. Somebody is going to sell themselves on the idea that Michael Carter is a bell cow. Trey Sermon's a bell cow. Somebody's a bell cow.
If you're watching this, DGFL boys in the back are telling me never take an RB that's like this. If you're going to take an RB, wait until the second.
Yep.
Not this early.
Yep.
Because you'll get the Gibson. Gibson, he'll be there. Not every year, but he'll be there some years. One of these guys could be Gibson. But taking him at 10 is hurting you from some other guys. Hey, that's just boys in the back. Don't crucify me for it.
I agree with the boys in the back. I will say, like, very bold, though, that Trevor Lawrence is still not off your board. But I'm going to agree with you on a pick you made previously. Terrace Marshall, baby. He's out there.
Yeah.
I haven't done a ton of study on him, so I don't have a lot to say. But he's a Panther. Frogs need wide receivers. Well, they need everything. Yeah. He's got upside. Won the second round. I think this pick makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with your logic. Frogs are definitely taking a wide receiver here. I think they're so from earlier I said they're going to trade one of these two. I think in their mind they want to be trading picks, and I think they'll trade one of these two. So I go back to back. I do another asterisk. I didn't plan it this way, but this is how it's going to happen. I do think one of these two picks is going to be traded again. I don't think it's this one. I think he goes Elijah Moore here. He has Mims. I think they're both on the Jets, right?
Yep.
I think he has Mims, and this is, I'm not sure about the second round, actually. I should have looked into this, where the Frogs are picking in the second round.
I can pull that up real quick. Keep going.
Yeah. So this is going to be a pretty big mic drop. I've been saving it for this moment, but Rap Sheet told the boys in the back, they're good friends, like I was saying. Boys in the back told me, you know, all that Tyreek Hill rumors?
Yeah.
Apparently, Kyler Murray was also in question. So Kyler Murray technically is on the block. The Frogs might not want to say he is because he's leader of the Frogs, but Kyler Murray could be on the move. So I think Elijah Moore goes here. Jets. I wouldn't be surprised. Where are the Frogs in the second? Do you know?
They're at 207, so they're gonna pick at pick 19.
Any chance Zach Wilson sneaks to him there? I wouldn't be surprised if he triples down on the Jets.
I think he could. I mean, considering I've been looking at this quarterback class, just to go on a little bit of a tangent. Yeah. Like last year we had Burrow go. You took him at what, 13, 14?
Yeah, first of the second.
Tua went 17. Justin Herbert not till like 30 something. I think we'll have something similar this year. I think Trevor will go in the first. And I think that we will see where like another guy will go probably mid second. And then after that, like the rest of the guys may fall, you know?
Yeah. With that in mind, I think there's another trade that happens here. And I'm not sure if this guy's going to be in your top 12. I'm not sure if he's in the top 15 for a lot of people. But Dyami Brown is going at 12. Yeah, wow. I think the Jollers make a trade for Dyami Brown.
Wow.
It's really I just have it in my gut that the Jollers made that Ridley trade. They've got a few older running backs, so I think they're going to go for like a really young offense that could take off. And I think that Dyami Brown in Washington, that's where he's at, right?
Yeah.
I think Dyami Brown in Washington, that's like one of the most up and coming, like high-powered offenses. All they need is a quarterback there. It honestly could end up, if they tank this year, it could end up being UNC guy Sam Howell, which would make that even more juicy. I think Dyami Brown goes here. Jollers make a trade. Go get another wide receiver, because after their running backs fall off, all they'll have is their young Jerry Jeudy, Mapletron, potentially Dyami Brown. Ridley's not that old. He's only 28, so
I think he's 26.
26. He's pretty young. So I'm actually liking the trade up from the Jollers. Not sure if the pick is going to be that. We'll see though. I'm thinking that something crazy is going to happen there.
Man, wow. See, like when I'm looking at your board and going off that, like I see the Jollers trade up. I'm like, oh, they're going to go get Trevor Lawrence. Like they no longer have Tua. Like no belief in Tua. Dyami Brown.
Yep.
I like Dyami Brown as a prospect. I mean, as a Washington fan. A lot of people are very high on him, but he's coming into an environment where he's at best the third guy. Terry McLaurin's there, Curtis Samuel is there, And then in the next group is like Dyami Brown. There's Antonio Gandy Golden. There's Cam Sims. There's Adam Humphries. There's some other, there's some jostling there on the depth chart.
I will say, if you let me put a point in, the Washington football team last year was like a bottom 3 receiving core. So by taking Dyami Brown, I'm not sure, was he third round?
Third rounder. Yep.
I think they have a lot of hopes that he's going to come in. They got Curtis Samuel, who's a gadget guy. I'm not surprised if Dyami Brown fills out those 3 wide receiver sets with those 2 guys. And he's just a really good – his route tree is kind of sus from college.
Yeah.
But they didn't need him to run any other routes because he was so good at the deep ball, So I would it's a little sus, but I think he could be dynamite I think he could be dynamite and really blow up if he's used correctly. And I think Ronnie is good for that.
Oh, no, he definitely is. Riverboat Ron, and also you've got Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's going to move the ball down the field. I'll just be honest, like I've like when Washington drafted Dyami, I was watching a lot of tape, and you've obviously seen a lot of Dyami. Yeah, his route running's not great. He ran slower than I thought he was going to. He wins a lot of contested catch situations, which is impressive. But it also is not necessarily conducive for the NFL,
Yeah.
So at 12, like if you're like, I'm not saying he's going to be a bad player, but like if you're coming up to 12, get a guaranteed guy in Trevor Lawrence, man. Like that. Oh man, if Trevor doesn't go in the first round,
nobody's really guaranteed, bro.
No one is. No, but I think Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback prospect we've seen since Andrew Luck. And so Andrew Luck had the injuries, and that's the only reason he didn't get to do everything he wanted to. But wow, yeah, no, that would be. I agree with you. It could happen once we get into that last half of the first round. Anything is possible. Yeah, I'm gonna actually. Unfortunately, I can't really top that. I should have gone first and let you have that spicy boy on the end. Because yeah, I'm really just going. I'm going Elijah Moore here.
Yeah.
Like, good player, talented player. Some of those next guys up were like Michael Carter. We didn't talk about Rondell Moore at all, but Rondell Moore is there. Yeah, those were some of the guys that were floating there. So
I will say, so I was gonna do like a tweet out of my trying to guess what I think it'll be. Looking at what Hunter did, so our first 5 are the same. I have Devontae and Jalen going like that, and then Rashad, and then I have Sermon instead of Lawrence.
Okay.
And then it goes Terrace Marshall, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter. I don't think a QB goes in the first for some reason. I don't know. The Wolves, I don't think the Wolves take. Just to recap, I honestly think all of these 7 are nearly perfect for you, of course. I don't think mine will definitely not happen.
It could,
after that,
go 1-1.
After that, like, try and convince me that any of these teams take a quarterback. Like the Wolves said that they have Jalen Hurts, so they don't want one. The Pubes got Baker Mayfield in the trade, so why would they draft one? The Frogs have Kyler Murray, so unless they trade him, they don't need one. So I don't know. That's the only thing I would change about yours, honestly.
No, I agree. I think, like, I'm with you. In general, I undervalue quarterbacks. You can always get another one, but when you got a guy like Trevor, it's just it's the upside so tantalizing.
Yeah.
So. No, look, I understand. Go for a more valuable player, like go get if you can find Justin Jefferson in this draft at this pace, go get him.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta go. You gotta go for those skill positions, because until we boost up quarterback values, which might never happen.
Coming. Yeah, it's not coming.
I mean, it doesn't have to be super flex. Like, we could always talk about adding 2 points for touchdowns or like.
Yeah, but all that stuff is like just to be clear, is theoretical. Like, I'm just saying that for the league. Like, I'm not telling them to go trade all your first round picks for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like,
as a commissioner, completely transparent, I would like to value quarterbacks more, but I'm really exhausted of changing rules. It's kind of annoying at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just left the rules as they are. After we figure out this return yards nonsense, that might not even end up going through because I'm just so like I just don't want it to end up being bad so much that like last year was good enough
Yeah.
that I might just change my viewpoint on it. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if nothing changes in the near future. But
Yeah.
this is our mock draft. Everybody left except for Josh, I think. So we at one point, I think we had half of the league in here. So
Dang. Okay. Beautiful.
I wouldn't be surprised if only 8 or so watched it, but who really cares? Asterisk that the Duckies selection here, he said he still doesn't know who he's taking. So don't use this, Adam Schefter, if you're watching. Don't use this in a tweet.
Oh yeah, no. Well, that's for the difficulty. It's like for you, you can be honest. I still have to like play some of the games of like, who am I going to take? Who do I like? Like, will I trade up? Will I trade down? Da 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 da. So, but in a spirit of transparency, I'm still trying to figure out. Like, I traded up to 4, not with any player in mind. I was just like, I know how the board's going to fall, and I need to go up a couple spots to get a guy I'm going to want. So,
yeah, sweet. So with that being said, this is Dirty Slam. Commissioner Hunter and me hitting you with the mock draft, hitting you with this thing. I'll format this if you're still listening. I'll probably end up sending a text in there, so it doesn't really matter. But you can get in here and put your picks in as early as tomorrow, late as the season. I'll format some of this stuff once we get the schedule in. Anyways, peace and blessings to you all. Dirty Slam out.